we're starting today with CM Punk, who on the first episode of Collision said he'd been named One Bill Phil by Warner Bros. Discovery CEO David Zaslav due to the authenticity of the Chicago wrestler. Well, it turns out that Punk may not have entirely been telling the truth, as during the pre-Forbidden Door media call, Tony Khan revealed that the line was his idea, and a nod to when WCW stars would mention Ted Turner. Khan added that rumors that the One Bill part of Punk's moniker being a nod to Punk generating $1 billion in media revenue isn't quite accurate, but that AEW is certainly aiming for that figure. There is some irony to the story behind Punk's nickname about authenticity being fake, and it goes to show that even true claims on an entertainment show can still be just for entertainment. Now, back in May of last year, John Morrison made his debut for AEW, and like he has in many promotions, took on a new name, dubbing himself Johnny Elite. Johnny Elite was with the company for less than a month, and it was made clear at the time that he was not under contract, but that the door would remain open for him to return. Now Morrison has answered the call. PW Insider reports that the former ECW World Champion is set to be a regular presence on AEW programming going forward. Morrison will be going by Johnny Television or Johnny TV going forward, and this agreement with AEW means he'll be able to spend much more time with his wife, Taya Valkyrie. Whether Johnny TV becomes the next top name in AEW, falls through the cracks of a massive roster, or somewhere in the middle, time will tell, but expect to see much more of him on AEW programming. During a recent taping of AEW Rampage, the Acclaimed made their presence felt, but received a less than enthusiastic response from the audience. During their time on the show, Max Caster and Anthony Bowens received 10 minutes of booing, with some believing the pair have some kind of heat, but that isn't the case. A fan who attended the taping revealed that the fans were only booing when Harley was speaking, so any claims of backstage heat on the Acclaimed has been greatly exaggerated. When Bill Goldberg's WWE deal expired last December, the former Universal Champion made it clear he wants a retirement match, and he has been making serious moves to make that match happen. For months, there has been speculation that Goldberg's final match could happen in an AEW ring, and now Tony Khan has added more fuel to these rumors with his recent comments. During the media scrum for AEW and NJPW Forbidden Door, Tony Khan spoke about Goldberg yet again and said that he and the legendary wrestler have had some nice conversations in the past. With that said, Sean Ross Sapp reports that Khan seemed to put the kibosh on the idea of Goldberg teaming with Sting and Darby Allin, so if he does join AEW, it won't be for a six-man tag. The reason why some thought that is that on Collision, Allin and Sting confirmed that a mystery partner will join them to face Chris Jericho, Sammy Guevara, and Minoru Suzuki, adding that Y2J has made many enemies. Though some took this as a nod to Goldberg, who had beef with Jericho in WCW and later WWE, that won't be the case, but don't rule out Goldberg one day stepping between the ropes in an AEW ring. Well, what do you think of this? Would you like to see Goldberg's last match in AEW, or the speculated event in Israel, or something else entirely? Sound off in the comments. Since arriving in AEW in 2021, Bryan Danielson has proven to be as tough as they come, and has had some of the most intense matches fans have ever seen in the company. For fans of Danielson, though, they may have noticed that we haven't seen much of him in the ring as of late, and there's a reason why the American Dragon has been sporadic with his matches. Fightful Select reports that Danielson has been pretty hurt for some time, but has been working through it to continue to appear on programming. They write, Fightful Select has learned that Bryan Danielson has been banged up as of late, and there were some spots limited in his AEW Double or Nothing 2023 Anarchy in the Arena match as a result. Prior to that match, Danielson hadn't worked since the 60-minute Iron Man match main event for the world title at AEW Revolution in March. It was also noted that Danielson has instead worked commentary for Blackpool Combat Club matches, while largely avoiding contact in the many brawls that have happened during that time. Behind the scenes, Danielson has been working closely with AEW Creative, and though his Forbidden Door match with Kazuchika Okada should be exceptional, the ex-superstar won't be going in at 100%. Since WrestleMania 39, Drew McIntyre has been missing from WWE programming, and the clock is ticking on his contract with the company. McIntyre's deal with WWE will expire in early 2024, but WWE remain confident they'll re-sign him, and his return will be very, very soon if the company has its way. PW Insider reports that WWE expects to see McIntyre back in the mix by their tour of the UK, which will kick off next week. WWE is also confident that he'll be in the mix in time for Money in the Bank on July 1st, but there's no word on if the company are planning for Drew to compete at the event. Drew hasn't been on TV, but did recently resurface as an ambassador for the Special Olympic Games in Berlin, Germany, and by all accounts, seemed to be more than ready to step back in the ring. The biggest issue between WWE and McIntyre has been over his creative direction, and Drew wants a clear picture of where he's heading. But if this report is accurate, we'll find out very soon what the future has in store for the Scottish Warrior. When Fuego del Sol first appeared in AEW, fans quickly began to rally behind him, but ever since he actually signed a deal, the masked wrestler hasn't been picking up many wins. Back in March, Del Sol underwent surgery for a foot injury, and this week confirmed that his AEW contract is set to expire very soon. In a video, Del Sol announced that his AEW deal will expire on July 1st, and he is now accepting bookings anywhere and everywhere, so we'll have to see where he shows up next after AEW. Since joining AEW in 2019, Jungle Boy Jack Perry has been the quintessential babyface, and his status as an underdog due to his smaller stature has won over countless fans. Perhaps the biggest feud for Perry to date saw him lock horns with the dastardly Christian Cage, who used the death of Jack's father Luke Perry in their angle, but it won't be long until Jungle Boy embraces his own dark side. During Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer noted that AEW is preparing Jungle Boy for a heel turn, adding that the writing has been on the wall for several weeks now. There's no word on when the exact turn will take place, but we do know that Perry will challenge IWGP World Heavyweight Champion Sonata at this weekend's Forbidden Door event. Whether this match triggers Jungle Boy's heel turn, or if it's something down the line, a turn is coming. And what do you think of this heel turn? Let us know in the comments down below. Recently, it was reported that Tony and Shad Khan had shown interest in purchasing Bellator, but that isn't the case, according to the AEW ROH president. In a recent media call, Tony Khan said he was surprised to see his name linked with Bellator, and that neither he nor his father have any discussions about purchasing the prominent fighting promotion. In business, we can't count out Khan trying to throw people off the scent and that he actually is interested, but for now, the Khans aren't looking to get into the MMA business, or at least that's what's being said. And we're ending today with Vince McMahon, who forced himself back into WWE in January, stating at the time that he was just looking for a buyer and wouldn't be involved with the product. Many were dubious of that claim, and since then McMahon has made several changes to creative plans, even as recently as this week's episode of Raw. Although many superstars are said to be frustrated with McMahon's involvement, especially with this week's Raw, Ricochet, on the contrary, realizes McMahon's worth, as he explained to Sporf. Vince is still involved and Vince is still talked to. He's still someone that everyone looks to, especially with creative, so he's got his fingers in everything too. It was after the Endeavor deal was announced that McMahon clarified his role, saying he won't be in the weeds with creative, but will give input to overarching storylines. Given that McMahon has been nixing segments and restructuring shows, his not in the weeds claim is also dubious, as the chairman remains firmly in control of all parts of WWE.